I really worry about young people today, not because I have that attitude, oh, young people today don't work hard enough, etc., etc., etc. Far from it. I worry because of the world that we have given them, the world that they're inheriting. I was reading the other day that something like 1/3 of young people in the United Kingdom live with their parents up to the age of 35. That's 1/3. That's a failure of society, because that failure to launch isn't personal. It's not a personal failure. It's a failure in how we've arranged things, how we've made it so difficult for people to get on the housing ladder. When I was younger, that was always our goal. My husband and I, we bought our first house a year after we were married, and that's just not possible anymore. Only one of my 4 children has their own home that they've been able to buy. And my youngest son, who has a creative career, has boomeranged backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards, sometimes latterly with his wife. And they've just got themselves settled in a rented flat. It really makes me angry when I hear older people disrespecting younger people. Ageism goes both ways. And as soon as we start talking about people as if they are a homogenous mass, whether that's older people or younger people, we're being ageist. And it's just not fair. There are so many nuances in everybody's experience at that age, our age. I talk a lot about ageism, talking about it in terms of how it affects us as we go into our later years. I am very worried about the narrative that seems to becoming so much more popular now, that older people are hoarding wealth and resources, and that we should be making way for young people. I was on LinkedIn yesterday, and unfortunately, I can't remember who actually quoted this, but this person said that they were listening to a French television show, and they were talking about the Rolling Stones and were laughing at 82-year-old Mick Jagger's looks, about how old he looks. I mean, the fact that he can still sing, he can still perform, he can still dance, just blows your mind, doesn't it? But they were saying that it's about time they stopped touring and made way for younger people to take the stage. And that really struck something in me. This person said it's not for older people to make way for younger people, it's for young people to claim the space. And I thought, wow, yes. Yes, it is, isn't it? They need to claim the space. Whether we step aside for them or whether we're still there, the space can expand. It's up to us to mentor and help young people. But this narrative that's coming along about this gerontocracy, about how we are standing in the way of young people, it's so dangerous. The more young people see us as the enemy, the more we see young people as the enemy, the poorer society is as a whole. I'd love to know what you think of this. Are you in the camp of, oh, young people today? Or are you in the camp of knowing that intergenerational support, intergenerational connections are so important? We need to nurture those. We're sort of coming into this era where we are separating ourselves through generations. We no longer live several generations in a home in our society as a rule, which means that young people don't grow up with older people. So children aren't growing up with grandparents and great-grandparents. And it's very easy to other people when you don't have any experience of them. And one of the things that really concerns me as well is that we seem to be building more and more retirement villages. Now, to some people, that might sound amazing. That's exactly what we need. Somewhere with a gym and a pool and where we can all live together over 55s, because it starts at 55. I'm nearly 65. I don't want to live in a retirement village. I want to live somewhere where I'm seeing people of all ages. It's where I can walk down the high street and say good morning and speak to the person on the till and, be part of the society that I live in. These retirement villages, more and more often, are being built outside the main areas that people are living in. That's a worry. What do you think? I don't know what the answer is. I mean, this business about older people hoarding property, for example, property blocking. I look around me where I live, and I would say the majority of people living in these 4 and 5 bedroom houses are single couples over 50. A family has moved in a couple of doors down. And I do sometimes think these are family houses. It's time we moved on. It's time we got something smaller, etc., etc. Or we had someone come and move in with us. But then you look around and it's about taking people's choice away, isn't it? It's about agency. These people who are living in these houses, who own their houses, who aren't still mortgaged up to the hilt, they've worked hard to own their houses. They've worked all their lives. They've put into society all their lives. The redistribution of wealth surely needs to come from a little bit higher up the food chain. And this is my final point. I feel that we are being demonized so that a wedge is driven between the generations. And that takes attention away from where the real problem is, where wealth is being hoarded and isn't filtering down. The failure of capitalism, if you like, trickle-down economics doesn't work. It did once. It doesn't work anymore. There's a dam. It's been stopped. And wealth isn't trickling down. And there's a wider and wider gap between the 1% and the 99% of us. And I feel that there's a wedge being driven in this narrative of older people and older generations blocking younger generations from getting on the housing ladder, taking their part in society. And by the same token, I feel that younger people need to get the energy to claim what is theirs, not by demonizing us, but by saying, I am here and I am ready, and getting on that stage. It's not easy. For some people, it's impossible. And our generation should be helping those people, those young people that are finding it impossible. And the young people who have found it possible should be helping those in our generation who are falling through the cracks. That's me for today. A few thoughts been running through my head while I've been walking around doing what I do. I'd love to know your thoughts. See you again next week.